Okay, next we're going to talk about oligopoly. So by the end of this, you'll be able to understand the definition and characteristics of a market that is in oligopoly, and you'll be able to explain how the firms in an oligopoly interact so that they can increase profits. So what is oligopoly? Oligopolies share many characteristics with monopolies, but the forces that create oligopolies are not as strong as those that create monopolies. Generally, the four-firm concentration is above 50%, meaning together they share market power. So there's only a few large firms. So for example, light bulbs. General Electric, Sylvania, Philips, and Westinghouse own 75.4% of the market. Cereals is an oligopoly. You got Kellogg's, General Mills, Post, and Quaker. They own 80.4% of the market. And batteries. Duracell, Energizer, Panasonic, and Rayovac together own 88% of the market. They have identical or differentiated products. Oligopolists can either create identical or varied products. For example, light bulbs of a similar size are all essentially identical. However, in the cereal industry, there's an endless supply of products. There's tons of different brands of cereal, types of cereal. There are high barriers to entry. Barriers, usually high startup costs, prevent competing firms from opening. So manufacturing industries such as batteries require a great deal of technology, machinery, and patents. And you have interdependence. An individual firm's profits are highly dependent on its competitors' prices. The airline industry is a great example of how one oligopolist's profits are largely determined by his or her competitors' prices. So however much Delta is charging to fly to Miami, that's going to be maybe undercut or matched by, say, Continental Airlines. Strategic behavior oligopoly. So we didn't do the warm-up game, but follow along. Suppose the soft drink market is an oligopoly with two firms, which is known as a duopoly. So we got Coke and Pepsi. Since the game is indefinite, we may expect cooperative behavior because they're going to have to deal with each other over an extended period of time. If one firm cheats, the other will use uncooperative behavior as well. So if they both cooperate here, they both make $18 million. But if, say, Coke cheats and undercuts Pepsi by like a ridiculous amount or comes out with a fantastic new product that they didn't tell Pepsi that they were creating, which they have an agreement that they have to do that, they get 20 million and then Pepsi gets 15 million. So because the other cheated, then Pepsi's going to go around and say, well, you cheated, so now I'm doing it. Whereas if they both cheat, they make $16 million. So it's in their best interest over time to both cooperate where they both make a better money than if they both cheat and better money than if they go off and on cheating on each other. So acting cooperatively, which is known as collusion, achieves maximum long-run profits. Although collusion will almost certainly produce more profits for each oligopolistic firm, it is unclear whether they will collude or if they will compete. Colluding oligopolists, the strongest collusion is a cartel, which is a formal agreement to cooperate, not a drug cartel. Cartels or trusts are not legal in the United States due to antitrust laws. Most countries don't allow cartels to form, but OPEC, which is the oil industry, is a cartel made up of countries, not firms, so it's not subject to any antitrust laws. Then you have competing oligopolists. Oligopolists may compete by increasing production, which is called Cournot's behavior. So, for example, the two major airline manufacturers will likely not compete by increasing production since airlines take such a long time to make. Oligopolists may compete by reducing the price, which is called Bertrand behavior. On the other hand, airlines are very likely to compete with another by undercutting each other's prices if there are empty seats. Tacit collusion. Even though formal agreements to collude, which is to cooperate, are illegal, oligopolists may still engage in tacit collusion, which is an informal understanding to cooperate. So that means there's nothing written down, but they had a meeting and they all said they were going to do this. Tacit collusion is the norm for most oligopolies. The American automobile industry, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, is a famous example of how tacit collusion can work. If an oligopoly has any of these characteristics, however, tacit collusion is a little bit more difficult. For example, the airline industry is a market that has had trouble maintaining tacit collusion. So if they have a large number of sellers, it makes it kind of hard. Also makes it not an oligopoly. Differentiated products. So if I'm over here selling oranges and you're over there selling soap, it's kind of hard to come to an agreement when we're selling two completely different products. Different size firms. If I'm a little guy and you're the big guy, I'm always going to feel like you're taking advantage of me because I feel like you're taking all my profits. And then large size buyers. If oligopolists sell to a large buyer, the buyer might threaten to purchase from a rival unless the supplier lowers the price. This is one barrier to collusion that does not exist for airlines. If we assume an oligopoly is operating under tacit collusion, it can be graphically represented as a kinked demand curve, which is this dramatic curve. That's all that means. Right there. The tacit collusion price and output are located on the kink. So letter A. Demand is steep to the right. More output and a lower price will be matched by other firms. And then if all firms do this, it leads to a small gain of sales for each firm, which is here. Demand is flat to the left, which is here. Less output and a higher price will not be matched by other firms. So if just one firm does this, it leads to a large reduction in sales. Bink. Oligopoly is very unpredictable market structure, but here are a few more characteristics that may exist in oligopolies. Such as price leadership is when one large firm changes price first and the other firms follow. You'll see this in gas stations. One gas station will raise the price and then all the other ones will follow suit. If a collusion breaks down, firms engage in a price war, slashing prices down to competitive levels, which is where you see at this time of year with Black Friday specials. It's generally better to get new customers with non-price competition, such as advertising. The cereal industry is notorious for attempting to gain additional market share with television commercials and other advertising. This can also result in product differentiation, where consumers think your products are different, just like Duracell and Energizer batteries. They're the same batteries. They're just two different brands. So now you should be able to understand the definition and characteristics of a market that is in oligopoly. And you should be able to explain how the firms in an oligopoly interact so that they can increase profits. So now let's look at the one activity that we have for oligopoly. The oligopoly homework, because the other one was not good. Sorry, it says numerous firms are listed in the box below. Each one is a major player in an oligopolistic market along with 3 others. Identify the markets represented by these firms and write the name of one market for each number below. Under each market, write the names of the 4 major firms in the market. So I gave you two of them. So one is tires. I don't know why I put them under 2 and 5. One is tires, because I figured you might not know these: Michelin, Goodyear, Bridgestone, and Continental AG. And the other one is TV stations: Viacom, News Corp, Disney, and General Electric. So you might want to pause this video right here and write those down. So it's up to you to figure out all the rest of them. So I go through and I would cross out the ones. You go up here and just strike through, so you know which ones that we've done, so that you can figure out what the others have in common. So you're up to 12 now. So you got to figure out what those, so there's going to be 3 more markets with 4 businesses in each market. You have to figure out what 4 of them have in common and then write them on there. All right, collusion or competition. Suppose FedEx and UPS are the only small package delivery firms in the United States. They're not quite, but they're pretty close. Pretend there are no fixed costs and each firm has a constant marginal cost of $2 per package. So the table below lists the market demand schedule for shipping packages in the United States for one day. So now we have to calculate total revenue, marginal revenue, total cost, and profits in the table above. So remember, our total revenue is price times the quantity. So the first one's going to be 80. And then 7 times 15. Let me pull up my calculator. I can't do that one in my head. 7 times 15 is 105. 6 times 20 is 120. All right, so our marginal revenue. So you see they've already got the lines right there. So our marginal revenue, remember, we're subtracting up. So 120 minus 105 is 15. 105 minus 80 is 25. And then we have our marginal cost right here. And our total cost column, is found by multiplying our quantity demanded times our marginal cost. So this one is going to be 20 because it's 10 times 2. I know there's no 2 there, but we know our marginal cost is 20. So just to get our total cost, we're going to do 20. 15 times 2 is 30. 20 times 2 is 40, and it'll continue down. And then our profit will be our total revenue minus our total cost. So 80 minus 20 is 60. 105 minus 30. I think that's 85, but let me double check. 75. I was wrong. 75. 120 minus 40 is 80, right? All right, so again, let me insert. So total revenue is price times quantity. Dang. Marginal revenue, subtract up on total revenue. We have our marginal cost, insert. Our total cost is going to be our quantity times our marginal cost. So 10 times 2, 15 times 2, 20 times 2. And then our profit is our total revenue minus our total cost. Okay? So suppose FedEx and UPS decide to break the law and secretly form a cartel. What will the monopoly price and quantity be? In other words, where is profit maximized? So the profit maximized will be wherever the highest number is over here. So you're looking for the highest number. So you're going to look at the price. So if 80 is our highest, we're going to put 80 here. And then we're going to go over and see what the price is. So it's going to be 6 and 20. Because the price would be 6 and 20 at our highest profit. I'm not saying that's the answer. So don't write that. I'm giving you an example. So if 80 is your highest profit, it asks for the price and the quantity. So you're going to go over and look at the price and quantity for 80. So you might want to make a notation over here that that's going to be your highest profit number. So assume two firms are still colluding as a cartel and decide to split everything evenly. How many packages will each firm deliver, and what will each firm's profit be? So if it's still 80, you're going to divide your quantity by 2. So our quantity will be 10. So then their profit will be divided by 2. Now assume that FedEx cheats on the cartel's agreement, producing 5 more packages each day. What will the new market price and quantity be? So remember, our marginal cost for each extra package is $2. So producing 5 more packages per day is $2 extra per package. So what will FedEx's new profit be, and what will UPS's new profit be? Finish your graph and you'll be able to see that, or I'm sorry, your chart, and you'll be able to see that. And then UPS realizes that FedEx has cheated, so it decides to increase output by 5 packages as well. What will happen to each firm's profits? You're going to have to look at your chart once you finish it. And then how do consumers benefit when cartels cheat on their agreements with each other? That will be something that you have to figure out. All right, I will talk to you guys later.